Crime doesn't pay. Unless you're Netflix, obviously, who have been quietly cranking out banger true crime content all year, ripe and ready for a binge watch right now. With that in mind, I'm Will for What Culture, and here are the 10 best true crime documentaries of 2021 so far. 10. Murder Among the Mormons. The best crime stories add a touch of unpredictability to the case, and Murder Among the Mormons has that in spades. Mark Hoffman, who was injured during a spate of 1980s bombings in Salt Lake City, provides a fascinatingly erratic case study here. Don't discount this one on the sole basis that religion isn't your thing either. There's so much more to the story, but attempted exploitation of the Mormon Church is definitely the centerpiece. Hoffman's forgeries weave across just 3 episodes, which makes the series short enough to tackle in one sitting. Like many binge-friendly miniseries, you'll likely be here till the end. Murder Among the Mormons is a gripping look at how community shapes its justice system. And if that sounds confusing, fire up the first episode and take a look for yourself. Hoffman, a colourful character who isn't as he first appears, got very bold with his aforementioned forgeries. Like, very bold. 9. The college admissions scandal. How far would you go to ensure your kid got into the right college? For some families, the answer is really far. In fact, those with money might not think twice about bribing administrators to get what they want. That concept, and the case of ex-high school basketball coach Rick Singer, frames this documentary. Singer reportedly made millions from down-low payments that made sure children who hadn't qualified got into the right school. Some celebrities were wrapped up in all of this too, which only adds to the drama sprinkled through the 103-minute special. This documentary was so controversial that one party sued Netflix for misrepresentation. That narrative, though, shouldn't stop you from checking out what's on offer here, or from scratching your head over how Singer hasn't been locked up to this day. 8. This Is A Robbery. Look, I honestly thought This Is A Robbery would be boring. After all, the subtitle is The World's Biggest Art Heist, and that's a bit of a niche topic. The kicker is, those responsible for the heist didn't just steal 1 or 2 valuable paintings. They stole 13. 2 men dressed up as police on the morning of 18th of March 1990 and successfully swindled a staggering $500 million worth of artwork from the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston. The actual police offered $10 million to anyone who could bring the paintings back where they belonged. And the mystery is still ongoing. Arguably, the best thing about the documentary is that it maps out how the duo pulled off their daring heist in the first place. You might find yourself sucked into this 4-parter, and before you know it, you'll be hunting for these paintings yourself. 7. Elise Matsunaga, Once Upon a Crime. Once Upon a Crime has a neat twist. Namely, that the killer, Elise Matsunaga herself, comes along for the ride and freely answers questions about her crimes. In 2016, Elise confessed to murdering her husband Marco 4 years before. She then cut his body into pieces. Matsunaga cuts a calm figure as she recalls Marco's adultery and the breakdown of their relationship. It's all very harrowing, but Elise seems like a normal enough person throughout, and her dysfunctional marriage to her husband is almost as gripping as the grisly murder details. That is the hook here. Elise still isn't quite sure what caused her to go so far. Adultery is cited as one reason, but never an excuse for what happened. Elise now resides in a maximum security prison, eerily close to where she lived with her husband. There's something altogether chilling about that fact alone, and the series doesn't shy away from the length, 19 years by the way, of her sentence. 6. Why Did You Kill Me? Many people are drawn in by crime documentaries because of the unanswered questions about why folks did what they did. In Why Did You Kill Me, asking such questions isn't just encouraged, it's the point. Tortured mother Belinda Lane wants to know why her 24-year-old daughter Crystal was shot dead by thugs in 2006. More than that, Belinda wants justice for Crystal and promised never to rest until she gets it. The determination is understandable, perhaps even admirable, and the heartbreak is tragic. And the fact that Lane used MySpace to seek answers sounds like something out of a movie. This is as raw and as real as drama gets. Incredibly, Lane created a fake MySpace profile for Crystal and systematically hunted down her daughter's killers. She got herself into lots of legal trouble, but there's a sense of natural justice about the entire story that's hard to switch off from. 5. Confronting a Serial Killer. Time for a break from Netflix. Confronting a Serial Killer aired on Starz instead, and it charts the forged relationship between author Gillian Lauren and prolific murderer Sam Little. You've probably never heard of Little, but he's one of the most dangerous killers in history. Sam killed at least 60 people during his reign of terror. As the title suggests, Lauren confronts Little and tries to get him to talk about his crimes. Of course, she's unsuccessful at first, but Gillian refuses to give up and eventually gets a few things out of the cold-blooded butcher. This is one for those who prefer hearing details about a serial killer's mindset and approach, and it will cause goosebumps. 4. John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. I'm assuming most of you watching this don't need an introduction to the horrors of John Wayne Gacy. His run of brutal murders between 1972 and 1978 claimed a reported 33 lives, and turned him into one of the world's most shocking serial killers. So what more can be said after decades of documentation? Maybe some words from the man himself, and some revelations about his family. That's what Devil in Disguise goes for. It mixes interview footage with Gacy, filmed shortly before his death by lethal injection in 1994, with comments from friends and family members who knew him best. The result is a whirlwind trip through the psyche of a remorseless murderer who lived a warped double life. Pictures of John dressed up as a clown should be enough to give most people nightmares, but he was arguably even more chilling out of the grease paint. Don't sleep on this one, despite the fact that the Gacy case has been examined countless times. 3. The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. Some reviewers haven't been kind to Netflix's crime scene, The Vanishing at Cecil Hotel, but it's still worth your time for the sheer mystery of it all. In 2013, the body of a 21-year-old woman was found floating in a water tank on the roof of the titular Cecil Hotel in LA. CCTV footage from beforehand showed a clearly distressed Elisa Lam hiding in an elevator and acting strangely. That will be most people's introduction to the case, because clips of that went viral online before the release of this 4-part documentary investigation. Tragedy and conspiracy theory mix to great effect here. Nothing seems to be normal about the hotel. The filmmakers do a good job of setting the scene for Lam's disappearance by exploring the Cecil's past, and then Lam's death is a hammer blow that'll leave you stunned. Ignore the negative reviews and give it a chance if you're into mysteries and conspiracy theory. 2. The Sons of Sam. A word of warning about the Sons of Sam going in: Maury Jerry, the journalist who acts as the main focus here, died in 2015. His accounts are instead read by an actor, so there's a dramatic tinge to the narrative that some won't favor. Don't let it put you off though, because this is one hell of a story. Maury dedicated his life to proving that killer David Berkowitz, who murdered 6 people between 1976 and 1977, was not acting alone. His findings were documented in the 1988 book The Ultimate Evil. But more about Berkowitz has come to light since then, and it is all here. Giamatti does a masterful job of playing Terry without overdoing it, and the documentary drums up new questions about a legendary case. Anyone interested in Charles Manson, cults, and/or seriously deep investigations will get a kick out of The Sons of Sam. It's one of the best true crime examples on the market right now. 1. Night Stalker. Like The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, some reviewers bemoaned the sensationalistic approach to retelling Richard Ramirez's story in Night Stalker. That's fair enough, but it must be hard to talk about these subjects without succumbing to a little drama here and there. It kinda comes with the territory, and it's why so many people are interested in the first place. Fresh knowledge from detectives Jill Carrillo and Frank Salerno make Night Stalker essential watching regardless. 4-parters also seem to be that sweet spot for Netflix, and they absolutely nail the pacing here. Ramirez is introduced gently, the officers come across as well-meaning citizens, and there's a particularly tense moment at a dental surgery in episode 3 that'll get your heart racing. Is it exhaustive? Probably not, but this is one of the most watchable serial killer docu-series you're likely to see. And it successfully communicates the idea that Ramirez terrorized an entire city, as well as his unfortunate victims. And there you have it, folks, the 10 best true crime documentaries of 2021 so far. Let us know what you've been watching down in the comments section below, and check out whatculture.com for daily news, lists, articles, and quizzes. I'm Will for What Culture, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.